Thank you for having us. This is a lot of fun. So Adam and I, over the last 2 years, have been running a project called Ephemera Dinners. It is essentially a series of pop-up dinners where we take over a house or a restaurant that happens to be closed on a Monday, what have you. And we use that space to put on our own kind of theme tasting menu dinners. We've done anything from Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas to seasonal to we did a psychedelic dinner last fall. That was a lot of fun. Just Adam and I's background a little bit. So before I was doing any of this, my last job cooking, I was sous chef for four at Brother Luck. Adam was he was there cooking with me. That's how we got to meet. We both shortly left after and started working with Axe and the Oak Distillery. Ever since we had both sort of become head bartenders there for a time. Adam's kind of working on a few different gigs around town, as well as still helping us out at the whiskey house there. I'm still a head bartender there when we open back up, hopefully. Other than that, that's kind of what we do. So we're hoping to talk about some cocktails and what to eat.
Beautiful. Yeah, like you were saying, my name's Adam. Been around in this industry here in the Springs for a while. Met Ian at 4 by Brother Luck. Been a sous chef around town before at Nosh, which is no longer around. Now working at Prime 25, archives all over. You can kind of catch me wherever. But today we're going to be making a cocktail and a food pairing for you. Because it's Thirsty Thursday and everybody needs a drink in their life right now. So what I'm going to be making to you, since we're ephemera and we like to make riffs of everything and kind of our take, today's going to be a take on a Martinez. So traditionally a Martinez is going to be a gin style Manhattan. Usually use an Old Tom gin, a sweet vermouth, Luxardo Maraschino, and Angostura bitters. Today we're going to do a little riff on that with Boulder Ginsky. So out of Vapor Distillers, Boulder, Colorado, they make a nice barrel-aged gin. Very, very beautiful, nice rich tones. I'm going to be using Punta Mes for my sweet vermouth. So Punta Mes is a nice medium balance between bitterness and sweetness. It balances really well with the barrel age on the gin. Then I went with the classic Luxardo Maraschino, and then Angostura bitters. All of these ingredients you can find across town at any of your local liquor stores, such as Downtown Fine Wine and Spirits, Cold Train, Veterans Liquor Store has Boston Academy has a lot of that great stuff too. So I'll be going through that build for you right now. So first you want to start with ice in your glass. Doesn't really matter what glass you got. So we'll start there. And when you're building a cocktail, you want to start with your lowest, your kind of cheapest ingredient and work to your highest build, your most expensive ingredient. So with that, I'm going to start with my Angostura bitters. So we're going to go 3 dashes of that. A dash is just a good hard shake. Then we'll go to the Luxardo Maraschino to get a nice cherry-rich liqueur on the sweeter end for sure. So we'll go 1/4 ounce of that. If you can't find Luxardo Maraschino, there's a few other products that are very similar. And if it comes down to it, you can also supplement with just cherry bitters. From there, we'll go to the Punta Mes. We're going to do 1.5 ounces of that. Very, very nice, rich, just medium balance, not too bitter, not too sweet. It goes great. You can make great Negronis with it if you're a big gin fan. And then for the Boulder Ginsky, we're going to go 2 ounces. Did you get all of that? Here's this color for you. Very, very nice. Very well balanced gin. Not too sweet, not too foiled. So now we're going to dilute. Take some ice. So the thing with ice, a lot of your household ice is going to dilute a lot faster. So you want to be very careful with that. You don't want to get it too quick down before it gets cold. So you want just a nice big stick on it. The trick to pairing is just keeping it around the outside of the spoon around the glass. And you'll know when your cock, don't feel your cock, you'll feel your nose properly chilled by the back of your hand. You don't want to grab it with the front of your hand, touch it with the back of your hand, and you'll be able to feel the temperature a lot better there. Couple more minutes, get that good W. You don't want it too strong. You can enjoy it any time of the day. Now that we're on airport rules. Finish that. Into the glass out of your martini glass. Strain. If you don't have one of these strainers, don't worry, you can kind of get creative. Doesn't have to be too proper. Next, we're gonna take everybody's favorite in the bar world. If you've ever had a Manhattan or any old fashioned, the Luxardo cherry is gonna be your favorite. So we're gonna drop one of those right in the bottom, make sure it gets nice and full of food. Next, we're gonna take an orange. Take your peeler. Nice and easy. You don't want to get too deep into the pith or it's gonna make it too bitter. Get a nice peel. The next step is called expressing the orange. So we're going to express the orange by just lightly squeezing it over the cocktail a couple times. You'll see the oils coming out and you'll smell it easily. Give the glass a nice rub from that. And if you're feeling really fancy for your guests, you can take a knife and kind of trim it up your orange peel. Make the ends very fancy like so. Give it a twist. And there you go. There's your very fun Martinez. Cheers. Now he's going to give you our food pairing for this.
So I think kind of one of the most important things from a bartending perspective is that you should be eating when you drink, if you're trying to be responsible. So here's a little dish that we're hoping to put on a menu coming this summer, as soon as everything's up and running again here in the rest of the world. So this is kind of a play on a chicken and waffles. Chicken and waffles is kind of one of those simple dishes that, I mean, that's a classic comfort. So, I get my chicken out of the oven here, should be just about ready. What I did here on this chicken, I did a bourbon brine. So it takes just some salt, water, a little bit of accent oak bourbon, of course. And then a few of those spices to kind of help work with the gin. So bay leaf, a little bit of coriander, fennel, a few of the things you will find in a lot of gins. Just let that soak with the chicken breast for about an hour. So then this is ready to go here. I always use a fancy plate. I don't know why, it just looks better. So instead of a classic waffle, I'm using these little waffle crisp things that I made here. So these are essentially basically a waffle cone recipe. Just kind of spread it flat on a sheet, and then it makes these kind of nice, these like fortune cookie sort of deals. So you can kind of put those in there creatively. Make sure you're getting it mixed around for all your textures. And then this here, this is kind of my favorite part of the whole thing. So this is an ancho chili and urfa chili. These are really cool products here. This is a crushed urfa chili. It's a Turkish smoked chili. And then, of course, ancho, so essentially smoked dried jalapenos. Kind of mix those up together. Then did a little bit of shallot, garlic, deglazed with that bourbon again, and then equal parts maple syrup and honey. This is going to be our syrup on our chicken and waffles here. So just enough on the plate and then a little bit around so your guests or you can kind of choose how much you want each bite. And then all food and drink is about balance, so we need a fat element in there. So we took those chilies again and we put those into a nice butter here. Just gonna put a couple little scoops of that on there and let that melt over your chicken, because that's gonna end up being a really nice little element on the final thing there. Now personally, I don't think chicken and waffles is proper without a little bit of green onion. Just a little bit of that on there. And then because we're trying to have a balanced meal here, we're going to just put a little bit of the salad on there. So this is just straight arugula, which is probably my favorite green. I'm picky with olive oil, so I like to use this Spanish olive oil here. when you're dressing, always go around the outside of the bowl. So that way you're getting a more even cover. Use just a tiny splash of some sherry vinegar. And it is important that you do this right before you serve, otherwise your greens are just going to kind of wilt down. A little bit of salt and pepper. Fresh ground is always better, but pepper is pepper. Make sure you kind of spread it around, getting all that oil nicely coated on there, otherwise you're just eating raw foliage, and we're not rabbits, so we don't do that. And there we are, kind of a play on a chicken and waffles. Got your butter, your fried chicken, your waffle crisp, and then of course a little bit of green to make it healthy. And so with the pairings, the reason that we're doing that together, so I wanted to replicate a lot of the spice that you're finding in a gin, and especially this barrel-aged gin. So this is a virgin oak barrel that's going to impart a lot of vanilla and a lot of spice into your spirit. So in addition to the botanicals and the spices that exist in there, I felt like chilies are going to go along really nicely. That kind of mixed bitter sweetness from that vermouth that we're using, the Punta Mez. That's going to be a nice kind of balance with of course, another barrel age base for your sauce, so that bourbon and your honey and your maple. And then, of course, everything's better fried. So that's our pairing.
That's awesome. Thank you, guys. Oh, what were you going to say, Adam?
Oh, I was going to say, if you have any questions about any of the ingredients or any cocktail steps, feel free to reach out to us at our Instagram or our Facebook, Ephemera Dinners. You'll be able to get a hold of us there, and we'll be able to answer your questions, give you suggestions on what you have in your house, or kind of give you the easy steps. So feel free to reach out and give us a follow.
Cool. So we have some questions to ask you from the guests, and I had a couple too. What are your top brand recommendations for Spanish olive oils?
So I'm a really big fan of these ones. So this Picot. So olive oils are kind of funny in that they have a lot of very regional specificities to them. So this Picot one it's kind of a light to medium body with a lot of fruit to it. And I think that's a really good, just kind of universal, just dressing or finishing olive oil. It's not going to overwhelm with flavor or anything like that.
Cool. And can you explain your business model in home cooking? Not.
Well, I suppose our business model for the time being has been more of kind of a research and development project for Adam and I to kind of play around with seeing like whether people are really interested in tasting menus and more kind of off the wall experimental foods. So up until some recent plans, our business model has been mostly just experimentation, and now we're kind of moving into the phase of it, being a little bit more legitimized. I'm not entirely sure what you mean with home cooking, but I can tell you that a lot of our ingredients are weird. My fridge is often full of things that I don't want to use when I'm cooking at home, so there is that.
Okay, another question that I had was, what are some pantry items you can use for making cocktails that a lot of people probably have at home?
So some of the most, the most basic is going to be your sweetener aspect, the simple syrup. It's a very underrated aspect of the bar that we use all the time, and it's just 1-to-1 your white sugar to water, bring it up to a boil and let it cool. That's going to give you a lot of depth on most of your drinks that you want to do. Citrus, oranges, limes, lemons, any of your juices really actually will combine with most things. Most just base spirits. If you add a little sweetener to it, a little citrus, And then you can even get, if you're really feeling creative, you can bust into the spice drawer and kind of get creative there. If you're feeling a little bit sweeter, you want something a little spice to it, some more color. Paprika is really, really fun to play with. Give you a nice little mouthfeel. Dehydrated fruits. I mean, it's kind of endless there. You can really get into playing with garnishes and different flavor profiles that you never think of. You just kind of feel creative, taste the ingredient, and then go from there. You know, if you want to make it sweeter or sour, it's just really fun to play with and be creative there. And we got the time right now to do that, so trial and error is always fun.
Awesome. Thanks for those tips. I have somebody asked, oh, hold on. I'd like to learn your secret to a great mustache. What are your tips?
Patience, mostly. It does not look great on most days. It has a will of its own, and sometimes it goes the direction you want it to.
You use like a gel or I don't know.
Yeah,
much
it's
about
a wax. I think mostly beeswax and coconut oil is probably the base. So. I did work with a chef who used to make his own mustache wax. I'd have to get a recipe from him though.
Okay. And then, do you have a favorite niche in your cocktail / cuisine choices?
Really anything, honestly. I mean, of course, being our backgrounds kind of have their own influence. So I think Adam has a lot of Southwest influence in his cooking, being from Durango. A lot of my cooking, my parents were military and went all over the world. My mom happens to be a great cook, so just made all kinds of stuff that she learned to make around the world. So we like playing with pretty much anything. And as far as pairings with it, we're always trying to do something kind of unexpected and different with at least with our dinners. Other than that, if you want just a good pointer, there's an old saying in the wine world that what grows together goes together. The other night I had an Oregon Pinot Noir with a sockeye salmon that was just really awesome. So anything that's regionally near itself is probably going to work out.
Awesome. Okay, another question for you guys. What are you doing to pivot your business right now, and what are you doing coming up that we can look forward to?
Well, I'm not sure how much we're supposed to talk about it just yet, but we are in the works to be part of an upcoming kind of larger space. It's going to have a lot of different talent, a lot of different experiences going in there. So we're really hoping that all comes through for us. And if everything goes according to how we're all hoping, then it's midsummer. We should be in a spot that y'all can come and actually get our food without having to try and get one Monday off every month. So that's kind of our next move.
Okay.
Question that just came in. You should definitely have a drink in your hand. It's Thursday happy hour. You need to have a drink in your hand. Yeah. But no, we're working on a lot of great things. We're always experimenting. This time has given us a lot to hone in on our menu writing. Just work on reading recipe books and finding a lot of inspiration to be able to come when we're ready and to just show you guys what we really have, especially with this Kawadi space coming up that we are really, really crossing our fingers for. I think we got something to show the spring, something pretty awesome here soon.
Cool. Are you offering anything right now, like takeout or any sort of packages or anything?
At the moment, Ephemera itself is not. It just wouldn't necessarily fit into our model. But yeah, we are partners with some co-owners with Pig Latin, so you can get some food that Adam's been cooking over there to go. And we're slowly kind of talking about getting more into doing a little bit more like video tutorials, things like this, because it is fun and we just like talking about what we do. So maybe people can get our food just by us showing them how to make it.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Does anyone else have any questions that they want to ask in the chat? Okay. How has the quarantine affected your art and craft?
Aside from bringing it to a dead halt, actually, you know, I don't know if I'd speak for Adam on this, but I feel like we've really had an opportunity to kind of step back and breathe a little, and I've done more cooking at home than I have in years. So it's just really nice to not have to worry so much about creativity when I'm cooking and just make good food that myself and my girlfriend want to sit at home and eat. But it's also giving us a lot of time to kind of reflect on the mountains of cookbooks that we own that sometimes we forget about. And I think I've rediscovered a good 2 or 3 titles just this week that yeah, I'm just getting tons of ideas from, and gives us a chance to write things down. So hopefully it ends up being something that makes us a little bit stronger creatively later on.
Adam, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, off of that, I mean, I'm still, like you mentioned earlier, I'm still in the kitchen right now working at Big Latin. Thank goodness they gave me a little spot to fill in the time. But again, just honing in on my craft, really trying to find my passion again, trying to really keep a positive note, really, and drawing into local artists a lot more, supporting them a lot heavier, and finding inspiration of just how the community is affected on the artist side of things. Really trying to, it's given me a more humble outlook on the things that we've taken for granted, such as going to the grocery store or having just all these necessities, and just a little bit of passion in there. So when we come out of this, we are all together a lot stronger, and we all can kind of come together for a common goal. And I think that's really important for everybody right now as well, to just find a passion, especially to support your local people. Go to your local brewery, go to your local distillery, support a local artist. You know, that's what's the most important thing. And like Ian said, just diving heavy into recipe books and writing just menus, and supporting the restaurants around town right now is a really huge goal for us, and just making sure that we all come out of this on top.
Well, I'm very thankful that you guys came on today. I think everybody really enjoyed this.
Yeah,
There
thank you very much for having us.
There was one more question, actually, we have time for. Where do you shop for unusual ingredients?
Asian market.
The Asian market?
Yeah, Asian Pacific market. It's a wonderland if you're curious. Other than that, we do kind of have special access to, you know, being able to order from purveyors who go to restaurants. But if there's something that I know I'm not going to find anywhere else, you could probably find it at the Asian market.
Awesome.
Something a little more accessible for everybody too is another fun place. Is we do a lot of our seafood and meat shopping at Whole Foods. They usually have some of the best oysters. They get the freshest oysters. They have just great meat cuts, and they can usually give you a large portions. For us, they give us large portions, and will let us get the cuts that we need for large, and just like all the cuts, all the cheeses. It's funny, City Market actually has the best cheese selection in town, probably.
Yeah,
they really
King Supers and City Market.
Yeah, so they really have the best cheese selection. So, you know, it's just kind of shopping around. I know it's kind of a little crazy environment to go out to the grocery store right now, but If you go in determined, and a lot of these stores have their selections online, so you can kind of walk in knowing what you need and ready to order right away to make your trip pretty quick.